The letter arrived 11 days after year 2 ended in memory, if not on calendar. Nova was in the scholarship annex when Wren's nephew brought it up from the Morning Post, Manor Wax, West Wing routing. The particular weight of an envelope that had not traveled through embassy channels because Kira Vane preferred his correspondence to arrive without attaché summaries attached. She recognized the seal before she broke it. 3 months since Rian had written directly. 3 months of Theo letters routed through Manor School and one-line embassy drops, and the silence that meant her father was watching from distance and filing what he saw without asking questions he was not ready to ask. She opened it at the annex table with porridge cooling and Pren's conductivity notes occupying gossip space, and Cira 3 seats away pretending to read while actually reading the envelope's arrival as data. Rian's hand was economical as his speech. He wrote, "Nova. Return to Vane Manor for 1 week. Departure at your earliest convenience after receipt. Carriage will meet you at the Academy East Gate if you send word by tomorrow's post. Family matter. I will not specify in correspondence. Do not bring operational documentation. Do not bring guests. Kira Vane. No title. No lady. Her name alone on Manor stock in ink that did not waste vertical space." She read it twice. Family matter unspecified was either discretion or test. Possibly both. Rian did not write without purpose. Rian did not summon without cause that had already survived his internal review. She folded the letter once and set it beside her bowl. Cira said Manor. Nova said yes. Cira said specified. Nova said no. Mara said, summer break isn't for 3 weeks. Nova said, Academy releases early departure for family summons if the summons is from a duke's household. Seelan said, is it urgent? Nova said, he didn't use urgent language. Pren looked up from conductivity notes with the expression of someone who had learned not to ask what conductivity had to do with ducal correspondence and had stopped expecting the answer to be innocent. Nova said, I'll send word tonight. She did not say what she was calculating. Calculation ran underneath breakfast the way framework ran underneath stone, authentication grammar asking what permission this summons implied, what exposure 1 week at Manor cost, what the enemy she had named in the garden could not travel on paper, what 19 nodes and catalog indices and 7 names required her to leave in head and under mattress edge and nowhere else. Torin received the news Thursday afternoon in his office with door closed. He said, Rian. She said, first direct letter in 3 months. He said, unspecified family matter. She said, yes. He said, you go. Not question. She said, I was going to. He said, good. Do not bring the map. Do not bring names. Do not bring catalog memory onto paper where Manor corridors can read it. Pause. Bring your head. Bring whatever he's actually testing for. She said, I don't know what he's testing for. He said, you'll know when you arrive. Rian tests slowly. That's not the same as not testing. She filed Thursday counsel beside Caden's 45 words and Crane's cream stock and heads favorable with caution and the erased word that lived in memory as orientation without paper trail. She sent word by evening post. Carriage tomorrow at second hour. She packed light. Academy clothes for return. Manor appropriate formal for whatever unspecified family matter required ducal summons. Cipher notebook stayed under mattress edge. Copied humidity logs for cover. No map. No names. No proof that she knew what silence meant. The carriage met her at East Gate in gray morning when capital air held the particular dryness that pulled static through cloak wool and made inscription gardens feel more honest than lecture halls. No attaché. No Cira. No witness protocol except the driver who had worked Vane routes long enough to know when not to ask questions. 6 hours to Hills. She spent them in calibration, not sleep. Inventory of old Nova's known debts, social, financial, reputational, reconstructed from letters burned and letters answered and letters filed in memory from the writing desk audit in the first month of this life. 7 correspondence redirected. Cassin loan deferred. Foreign seating released. Loon theft script dismantled. Lisa's fabricated evidence uncommitted by operator change, but not undone by operator change. Debts remained in bodies that wore her face. The hills rose. Manor appeared the way it always appeared from the approach road, stone and east wing profile and inscription garden wall visible above service hedges, and the west wing where Rian kept paperwork like ammunition sorted by range. The carriage stopped in the courtyard. Ren was not at the door. Theo was. 15 now. Folio under one arm. The posture of someone who had stopped treating paper as practice. He said, Nova. She said, Theo. Not lady. The word between them held distance and garden visits and pause notation on scrap paper and loop derivation at rank 3 hidden from boards that would file him as heir before they filed him as threat. He did not hug her. She did not offer. Vane Manor did not perform reunion at carriage steps. He said, Father's in the west wing. He said to bring you straight to the study after you wash travel dust. She said, How long have you known? 3 seconds. His pause notation habit. He said, Since the inquiry papers arrived. 4 days. Inquiry. The unspecified family matter had a shape now. Not worm shape. She said, Tell me on the walk. He fell in beside her through the entrance hall where portraits watched without commentary and staff routed around them with the trained neutrality of people who had watched the old Nova enter this hall and knew what bracing looked like from the service corridor angle. Theo said, Lord Havoc Telvin. Minor border house. Eastern Conservatory at their Telvin estate. Formal claim filed through provincial adjudication, routed to ducal jurisdiction because the named defendant is a duke's daughter. Nova said, Named defendant. He said, Lady Novalis Vane. Date of incident. 2 years prior. Your age 15 by Manor calendar. Before academy. Before she woke in this body. Before Hannah Seo opened eyes in a dark room that was not a hospital. The old Nova's age 15. Theo's voice stayed level. He said, claim alleges deliberate inscription damage to load-bearing conservatory panels and 3 years of cultivated variants stock destroyed in Cascade. Estimated restitution, substantial. Political exposure, moderate. Father received papers 4 days ago. He did not write you until he'd read them twice and consulted counsel. She said, real. Not question. Theo said, real. One word. He did not soften it. She appreciated that more than she would have appreciated comfort. They climbed West Wing stairs. He said, I found correspondence in the archive annex. Not hidden well. Draft in her hand. She was angry about something Havoc said at a provincial gathering. She wrote that Telvin Conservatory was vanity architecture, and she would demonstrate how easily vanity cracked. Pause. He said, there's a second page. Compound notation. Humidity-triggered cascade. She sent it through a courier the old network used. 3 days later the conservatory collapsed its eastern wall. Nova walked. She did not stop. Her body was the defendant's body. Her memory was not the defendant's memory. Her accountability was traveling anyway because accountability did not require consent from the consciousness currently operating the hardware. Theo stopped outside the study door. He said, he's been waiting for you to arrive before he opened the full file in front of you. He said you deserve to read it yourself. She said, did he say that? Theo said, he said, she should see what bears her name. Close enough. She knocked. Rian said, come in. The study was unchanged. Precise shelves. Desk clear except for left stack priority correspondence. 2 chairs not quite parallel. He stood when she entered. That was new. He did not embrace her. He gestured to the nearer chair. She sat. He set a folder on the desk between them. Provincial seal. Telvin house crest, wheat and compass, minor nobility, the kind of house that built one beautiful thing and called it legacy. He said, you've been briefed. She said, Theo told me on the walk. His eyes moved once, brother assessed, information delivered, no panic in the delivery. Filed. He said, the claim is well constructed. Havoc is not inventing damage. The conservatory was load-bearing inscription architecture, variance cultivation, humidity controlled, 3 years from first yield. It's gone. His house is seeking restitution and a formal acknowledgement that the act was deliberate and unauthorized. She said, it was deliberate. Silence. 3 seconds. His face did the brief recalculation she had learned to read in the 20th day meeting 2 years ago, and in the courtyard 12-second departure look, and in every interaction, since where he braced for one nova and received another. He said, "You remember." She said, "I read her draft in the archive annex 4 minutes ago." True. Incomplete. He accepted the shape of it. He said, "Council advises 3 paths. Fight the claim on evidentiary grounds. Courier chain is traceable but not conclusive without confession. Settle with House Vane Treasury and no personal acknowledgement. Makes the matter disappear, costs the estate. Teaches Havoc that Vane gold buys silence. Third path, personal response. Your allowance. Your correspondence. No ducal seal. Enough to satisfy honor without formal guilt admission in the provincial record." She said, "Havoc wants acknowledgement." He said, "Havoc wants to be seen. His house is minor. Your name at 15 was already larger than his legacy. Being destroyed by a Vane daughter and then ignored for 2 years is worse than being destroyed and paid." She looked at the folder. She did not open it yet. Opening it would make the damage real in a different way than Theo's summary. Photographs of collapsed panels, notation forensics, the particular vocabulary institutions used when they wanted restitution to sound like justice. She said, "When does he need an answer?" Rian said, 1 week. "That's why I asked for 1 week." She said, "You could have decided without me." He said, "It bears your name." She said, "It bears her name." His jaw tightened once. Not anger. The container he used for things that did not have adequate words. He said, "In the record it's your name. In this house it's your name. In the body that sent that courier it's your name." Pause. "I'm not asking you to confess to memory you don't hold. I'm asking you to choose what this house does with the debt that arrived whether or not you incurred it." The corridor outside was quiet. Manor quiet. The kind that meant staff knew something formal was happening and had increased their competence radius without increasing their visibility. She said, "I need to read the file." He said, "Take it." She took the folder. Weight of paper. Weight of someone else's anger preserved in notation and collapsed architecture. She said, "I'll have an answer before the week ends." He said, "I'll be in the West Wing." Not dismissal. Boundary. He was giving her the room to choose without standing over the choice. She stood. Theo was gone from the corridor. Smart. He had delivered truth and removed himself from the moment father and sister negotiated what debt meant. She walked to her old room, still hers, still maintained, the writing desk that had held burned drafts and Cipher notebooks and the correspondence of a girl who sent humidity cascades through couriers when insulted at provincial gatherings. She sat at the desk. Opened the folder. Lord Havoc Talvin had not exaggerated. Eastern wall gone. Variant stock, 3 years of cultivation, notation said, specialized humidity response breeds dead in the thermal inversion the cascade produced. Forensic notation matched draft syntax in the archive annex. Courier receipt dated. Witness statement from Talvin Conservatory Keeper. The claim was not trap. The claim was invoice for damage the body she wore had ordered before she existed in it. She opened the notebook from under the loose floorboard where staff had not looked in 2 years because Ren had told them not to. She wrote in the notebook, Day 341. Manor summons. Inquiry. Havoc Talvin Conservatory, 2 years prior, deliberate cascade. Real. Draft and archive confirms. 3 paths from council. Father will not choose for me. Body bears name. Debt bears body. Choice required. She stared at the last line. Choice required was not operational language. It was honest language. Honest language was heavier. Outside, Manor afternoon moved through ordinary rhythms, kitchen corridor, schoolroom, garden wall humming with heritage maintenance that was not heritage maintenance if 19 nodes and catalog memory were correct. She could fight. Evidentiary grounds. Distance. Denial dressed as legal precision. The old Nova would have fought or bought silence with estate gold and performed innocence for an audience that already knew she was guilty. Hannah Sia would have run. Nova sat at the desk of a dead girl and held a folder of collapsed architecture and understood that the arc of this week had started before the letter arrived. It had started the day she woke in a body with debts she did not incur and consequences that did not care about the distinction. She closed the notebook. She did not have the answer yet. She had the file. She had the week. She had a name in provincial record that pointed at her whether or not she remembered sending the courier. The choice was hers. That was the summons. Not the carriage. Not the unspecified family matter in Rian's letter. The choice. She would make it when she had read enough to understand what apology cost, and what fighting cost, and what silence cost, the other silence. The kind Havoc had lived in for 2 years while House Vane pretended the conservatory collapsed from vanity and weather. She opened the folder again. Read the keeper's statement. Read the notation forensics. Read the estimate. Substantial. Not ruinous for House Vane. Ruinous for Havoc. Personal allowance would hurt. Good hurt or bad hurt she could not classify yet. She read until lamplight required and Ren sent supper to her door without comment. She ate. She did not sleep. The body she wore had destroyed a conservatory 2 years ago. The person in the body was only now arriving to the scene of the crime. That was the debt. That was the leak. Memory she did not own leaking into consequences she could not refuse. She lay in the dark and listened to Manor settle. Not framework. Not nodes, a minor lord with a compass crest and 3 years of dead variant stock and a claim that was real. The past had come due in a body that had tried to be someone else long enough to forget the bill was still in her name. She would choose. Tomorrow she would read the draft in the archive herself, walk the garden where Theo practiced loops the board did not know about, and let the week begin. Tonight she held the folder on her chest like evidence at a trial where defendant and judge wore the same face. Enough. She read the draft herself at first light. Archive annex in the West Wing, temperature controlled, dust managed, the room where estate records lived in the particular order Rian imposed on everything he could not emotionally sort. A junior clerk unlocked the requested box and left without asking why the Duke's daughter wanted correspondence from 2 years prior. Manor staff had learned the new Nova's habits. Precise requests, no performance, no scenes. The draft was in the old Nova's hand. Angry loops in the margins. Nova read it standing, because sitting felt like permission. The first page was social. Havoc's comment at the gathering rendered in vicious shorthand, Talvin vanity, Eastern houses, and their obsession with cultivation architecture. The insult that had not been about conservatory at all, but about visibility. Havoc had said something about Vane daughters and provincial manners. The old Nova had heard, "You are small enough to break." The second page was notation. Humidity-triggered cascade. Load-bearing panel exploit. Variant stock as thermal sink, deliberate, elegant in the horrible way competent work was elegant when aimed at destruction. The third page was courier instructions. Network contact from the old Nova's Academy-bound correspondence chain, not yet at Academy, but already building the machine Nova had spent year 1 dismantling piece by piece. She did not cry. Crying was not procedure. She photographed nothing, no devices, but copied syntax to memory the way she copied catalog indices, stroke by stroke, the particular curve of conditional branch that turned maintenance humidity into weapon. The clerk would not know what she was memorizing. She would know. This was the hand that had worn her face. This was the grammar she had been unlearning in public for 2 years while performing careful and teaching Theo pause notation and erasing silence in a garden at midnight. Det did not unlearn because the operator changed. She returned the box. Walked the corridor. Stopped at the window overlooking the courtyard where the carriage had brought her yesterday and the hills beyond where Talvin Estate sat 4 days' ride east in a direction she had never traveled in this life. 4 days for a courier. 3 days for collapse. 2 years for Havoc to file. 4 days for Rian to read twice before writing. 3 months of silence between father letters. The timeline was not cruelty. The timeline was how institutions and families process damage when the person who caused it left for Academy and became someone else's problem until the record caught up. The carriage ride had been 6 hours of inventory. Inventory had not included standing in an archive reading her predecessor's weapon design. That came after. She went to the garden before breakfast because the garden was where Manor told the truth when the West Wing told procedure. Theo was already there. Folio open on the third from left tablet. Loop notation. Humidity log. Run 5 annotated in margins she recognized as stable. He looked up when she entered. He did not ask about the archive. He said, "You read it?" She said, "Yes." He said, "And?" Not question, invitation to precision. She said, "The cascade syntax is competent." She targeted thermal inversion through load-bearing exploit. Conservatory didn't have a chance. He absorbed that. Technical assessment landing where emotional assessment might have lived in a different brother. He said, "You didn't write it." She said, "The body wrote it." His mouth tightened. He had heard her use that distinction before, not those words, but the shape. The separation between operator and hardware. He was 15 and Cipher literate, and had lost a mother to an accident the household did not call accident, and had spent 2 years watching his sister become someone the old Nova's shadow did not cover. He said, "Havok doesn't care about distinction." She said, "I know." He closed the folio. He said, "What are you going to do?" She said, "I don't know yet. Honest." Vane Manor. He nodded once. He said, "Father thinks you'll fight it." She said, "Council offered fighting as path 1. He said, "The old you would have fought." She said, "The old me would have bought silence with estate gold and called it winning." Pause. He said, "That's not an answer." She said, "It's context." The garden wall held morning cold. Somewhere underneath, if she pressed palm to stone, note grammar might hum. Manor was not academy, but Kira Vane had built in the east wing, and gardens inherited mother's approach whether maintenance crews knew it or not. She did not press palm. Not today. Today was Havok. Theo said, "I have school until midday. After that I can copy council's path summary if you want it without sitting in the west wing." She said, "Yes." He said, "Don't teach me cascade." She almost smiled. "Almost." She said, "Noted." He returned to run 5. She watched his loop self-correct once, ambient shift, branch adjustment, no manual intervention, and filed brother capability beside brother risk beside conservatory cascade in the same ledger where debts lived. Rank 3 hidden. Inquiry public. Framework silent in memory. The weight was not single object. The weight was stack. Old Nova's active bottom. Her response on top. Father watching from west wing. Brother practicing loops 3 feet from where mother used to work. She left the garden before attaché habits from academy made her paranoid about manor surveillance. There was no attaché here, only Ren's long memory and staff who had watched the original Nova and knew what damage looked like before the record named it. West wing after breakfast. Council's summary in Rian's left stack. 3 paths rendered in legal notation, as clean as any inscription. Path 1. Contest evidentiary chain. Risk, publicity. Reward, no personal cost if successful. Probability, moderate. Cost to Havok, continued invisibility. Path 2. Estate settlement, ducal seal, no personal acknowledgement. Risk, Havok publishes anyway. Reward, matter closed in record. Cost, House Vane treasury, precedent that gold erased deliberate harm. Path 3. Personal correspondence, personal allowance, private apology, partial restitution calibrated below formal guilt admission threshold, above insult threshold. Risk, personal exposure. Reward, Havok stands down because pursuit costs more than settlement satisfies. Cost, her. She read Path 3 twice. Personal allowance. Not estate. Her. The academy stipend and the Vane daughters' discretionary fund and the money she had been hoarding for rank 5 materials and Cipher ink supplies and the quiet costs of being a scholarship floor student who was not actually poor. Substantial enough to hurt. Not substantial enough to beggar her. Calculated, she suspected, by counsel who understood that apology without cost read as performance. Rian watched her read. He had not sat. He stood by the window with the posture of a man who had already done his paperwork and was now doing the harder work of waiting. She said, Havok's estimate is inflated at the margins. He said, yes. 10%, counsel thinks. He knows it. He would accept less if the shape of the response is right. She said, shape. He said, scene. Personal. Not bought by Duke's treasury without daughter's voice. She said, he wants me to admit it. He said, he wants Lady Novalis Vane to admit that what Lady Novalis Vane did was real. He doesn't need the words in the provincial record. He needs the letter in his hand. She looked at the Telvin crest on the folder cover. Wheat and compass. Minor house. One beautiful conservatory. Gone. She said, I need 2 days. He said, you have them. Not approval. Not direction. Room. She took the path summaries to her room. Theo brought his copy at afternoon, same 3 paths, annotated in his hand with questions she did not ask him to answer. Would fighting teach Havoc that Vane always wins in court? Would estate payment teach him gold erases harm? Would personal payment teach him the daughter is different or the daughter is performing difference? She read his 3rd question longest. Performing difference was the wound. 2 years of academy careful. 12 seconds in the courtyard. Pause notation on scrap paper. Anonymous exercises she had not yet sent to anyone since year 2 began. The question was fair. She wrote in the notebook, Havoc Inquiry Day 2. Draft read. Cascade confirmed competent. Theo, Loop Stable Run 5. Council paths reviewed. Fighting equals old machine. Estate equals gold silence. Personal equals cost plus visibility. Brother asks if difference is performance. No answer yet. 2 days requested. She stared at brother asks. She closed the notebook. Evening. Manor dinner formal, small, Rian at head, Theo beside her, 3 senior staff attending because protocol required and Ren's kitchen sent food that tasted like care without comment. Rian said nothing about inquiry. Theo said nothing about loops. Nova ate and observed Rian's watchfulness, not bracing, not the flinch staff described from the old Nova years, the new watchfulness she had earned in courtyard seconds and letters, and the examination results that reached Manor before she did. He looked at her without expecting cruelty. That was new enough to be its own pressure. After dinner, she walked the east wing corridor. The study door was locked. Dust at the frame edge undisturbed. Rian's when you're ready hung in the air like conditional branch, true when authentication cleared, false until then. She did not knock. Not tonight. Tonight was Havoc's conservatory, not Mother's proof. She stood at the locked door and listened to Manor quiet and understood the stack had another layer she had been deferring. Debt from the body you wore. Debt from the mother you lost. Different creditors. Same house. Same week. She returned to her room. Drafted nothing yet. Apology required words she had not written since year 1 when she burned attack plans and composed bland closings. Those were easy. Those closed doors. This opened one. She slept 2 hours. Woke to gray dawn. Sat at the desk. Read Havoc's keeper statement again. The man who watched 3 years of variant stock die in 1 thermal night, who described the sound load-bearing panels made when inscription architecture failed wrong. She had never heard that sound. The body she wore had caused it. She took paper. Manor stock. Not cipher. Plain language for a man who deserved plainness. She wrote the first line. Deleted it. Wrote again. Deleted. Procedure did not help with apology. Analysis did not help with apology. Only the fact of cost helped. Havoc's cost. Real. 2 years unacknowledged. And the fact that fighting would be true to the old Nova's machine and false to whatever she had been building in the gap between performance and self that Syrah had noticed at breakfast after the erased word night. She wrote, Lord Havoc Telvin, I have read your claim. I have read the conservatory record. I have read what bears my name from 2 years prior. I will not contest the damage. I will not ask your house to accept that estate gold replaces voice. Enclosed, partial restitution from my personal allowance, calculated against your estimate with the margin we both know exists. I am not sending Duke's seal. I am sending mine. What was done to your conservatory was deliberate. What was done to your keeper's work was real. I should have answered this 2 years ago. I do not ask your forgiveness. I am making the matter not worth your house's continued pursuit. Lady Novalis Vane. She read it once. Dry. Accurate. Not formal guilt admission in the language council needed for provincial record. Enough for Havoc's hand. Enough for her cost. She did not sign with flourish. She signed the way she signed examination paperwork, legible, controlled, no performance. She set the letter on the desk and looked at it and understood the weight of old Nova's act was not the draft in the archive. The weight was this letter. Response. Debt acknowledged in the only currency that traveled with the body. She had not sent it yet. 2 days were not complete. But the choice had formed the way choices formed when analysis finished and only execution remained. She would settle. Private apology. Partial restitution. Own allowance. Not fight. Not estate buyout. Tomorrow she would show Rian before sealing. Tomorrow she would learn what father did when correspondence went out. Tonight she sat with the unsigned letter and the unsigned cost and the garden beyond the window where Theo practiced loops the world did not know about yet. Memory leak. Not framework. Not the enemy she had named in the garden. The past coming due in a body that had tried to be someone else long enough to forget the bill was still in her name. Enough. She showed Rian the letter at morning tea. West Wing study. Door closed. 2 pages on his desk, her draft, counsel's notation on margins about phrasing that would survive provincial scrutiny if Havek leaked the letter, which counsel assumed he would not, which Nova assumed he might. Rian read without expression. He read the second page twice. He said, path 3. She said yes. He said, your allowance. She said yes. He said, counsel can reduce the figure by 8% and still close the matter. She said, Havek inflated 10. 8% reduction keeps the shape honest. Something moved in his face, not smile, acknowledgement that she had read counsel's margin notes he had not pointed to. He said, I'll have the transfer prepared. She said, I don't need estate to supplement. Pause. He said, I know. She sealed the letter herself. Manor wax on personal stock, not ducal seal, not West Wing administrative crest. Hers. The transfer draft from counsel took until afternoon. She signed where personal accounts required. The number heard exactly as predicted, not ruin, not comfort, the specific pain of watching months of hoarded discretion become restitution for a crime she remembered from archive syntax rather than from hand motion. She did not flinch at the figure. Rian watched the correspondence packet leave with the Evening Post writer. He said nothing. No commentary. No approval framed as praise. No warning framed as caution. He stood at the study window and watched the rider cross the courtyard and did not look at her until the horse passed the gate. Then he returned to paperwork. That was its own answer. Theo found her in the library after. He said, sent. She said, yes. He said, fighting. Not question, checking the discarded path. She said, no. He sat in the window chair, her chair from 20 days of observation in the first month, from reading foundational texts, while father said, when you're ready about a locked door 30 meters east through 2 corridors. He said, why? 1 syllable. She said, because the claim is real. He said, that doesn't require confession. She said, it requires response. He looked at his hands. Folio closed on his knee. He said, Havek will think you're weak. She said, Havek will think what Havek needs to think if it lets him keep his house upright. I don't need him to think well of me. Theo absorbed that. 15. Rank 3. Still learning which battles were inscription and which were architecture. He said, the old you would have made him regret filing. She said, the old me made him file by not answering for 2 years. Silence. Outside, birds in the garden, the faint complex murmur she had heard through closed windows in the first week of this life when she was inventorying a dead girl's room and did not yet know the proof was behind a locked door. He said, are you different? The question Sarah had not asked directly. The question Caden would ask in different words months later. The question the body asked when Dad arrived. She said, I don't know. I'm paying. He nodded. Not satisfied. Not rebuffed. He opened the folio. He said, show me run 5 variants. She did. Technical. Safe. The conversation closed because Manor had taught him to close conversations before they became wounds. 3 days later Havek's reply arrived. Shorter than her letter. Lord Havek Talvin wrote. Lady Vane. Received. Accepted. My house will withdraw the provincial filing upon confirmation of transfer. I do not forgive the conservatory. I accept that you did not hide behind your father's treasury. No further correspondence required. Havek Talvin. No warmth. No reconciliation. Closure shaped like a door shutting from his side. Council confirmed withdrawal within the week. The matter left ducal jurisdiction. The record would show settlement without formal guilt admission, path 3 working as designed. She wrote in the notebook, "Inquiry closed. Transfer confirmed. Filing withdrawn. Cost, personal allowance, 8 months recovery at current stipend rate. Havoc, accepted, not forgiven. Correct outcome shape." She closed the notebook. The week was not over. For days remained of Rian's summons. The inquiry had consumed the center. The edges were still Manor. Dinner that evening, Rian, Theo, Nova, quieter than the formal meal at week's start. After Theo left for schoolroom review, Rian said, "Walk with me. Not study." Corridor to the portrait hall where Vane ancestors watched with the useless honesty of oil paint. He stopped beneath the portrait of Kira Vane, younger than Nova's mental image, inscription stylus in hand, the particular smile of someone who had not yet learned that magnificent work attracted dangerous attention. Nova had not stood here with him before. He said, "You could have fought that claim." She said, "I know." He said, "Why didn't you?" 3 words. No rhetoric. The question counsel had not asked because counsel optimized outcomes, not motives. She said, "Because I should have apologized 2 years ago." Silence. Longer than 3 seconds. Portrait hall silence, the kind that had weight because the walls had heard Vane conversations for generations and did not give them back. Rian looked at Kira's painted face. He said nothing. He returned to paperwork, not literally. They were in the portrait hall. He turned toward the west wing with the specific economy of a man who had received an answer that fit a container he had been building and did not yet know how to open. She watched him go. He did not say good answer. He did not say wrong answer. He did not say the old Nova would have fought. He said nothing. That was the most he had given in 3 months of silence between letters. She stood under Kira's portrait alone. Mother magnificent and incomplete on canvas. Daughter paying debts and personal allowance downstairs in accounts. Father returning to paperwork because paperwork was how he loved people without performing it. The stack aligned. Body debt. Mother debt. House debt. Different shapes. Same east wing direction. She looked toward the corridor where the study door waited locked, dust at frame. When you're ready, conditional still false. Apology to Havoc was practice. Proof was next creditor. Not tonight. Tonight she let Havoc's door shut in the record and Havoc's conservatory stay collapsed in memory and the transfer hurt in accounts the way hurt was supposed to, proof that cost was real. She slept 4 hours. Enough for Manor. Not enough for Academy conscience. The inquiry was settled. The week continued. What came after settlement would be worse in a different direction. Not public record, but private inheritance. East wings still locked, father still watchful, brothers still looping in garden, framework still silent in her head, the hypothesis still unwritten on paper. She walked the garden at dawn the morning after Havoc's withdrawal confirmation and did not practice inscription, observation only. The retaining wall held morning cold. The semicircle tablets waited. The third planter sat against the east wall with the box long emptied and notes long memorized and returned. Theo would arrive in an hour for Run 6 review. She used the hour to sit on the bench where public rank 4 had been written in darkness months ago at Academy. Not here, but the posture was the same, stillness as calibration, not rest. She thought about Havoc's keeper statement. The sound of panels failing. The variance stock dead in thermal inversion. She had paid restitution without formal guilt admission because counsel had shaped the language and she had shaped the intent. Intent was apology delayed 2 years. Intent was not performance of goodness for Manor audience. Intent was the smallest honest transaction available between a minor lord with a compass crest and a daughter wearing a dead girl's consequences. Rian had asked why. She had answered. He had returned to paperwork. That was the whole conversation. That was also the most father had given since departure day. She filed it beside 12 seconds in the courtyard and when you're ready in the east wing corridor and the transfer figure that would take 8 months to recover from stipend alone. Cost was real. The body you wore came with invoices, some you could fight, some you could buy with estate gold, some you had to pay yourself because paying yourself was the only proof the operator had changed even when memory had not. Theo found her on the bench at the agreed hour. He did not ask about Havoc. He showed Run 6. She corrected one variance branch. He corrected her correction. They worked until school bell, ordinary over map, Ordinary over inquiry. The ordinary was earned. She was not resting. She was between debts. Enough. The household adjusted around settled debt the way water adjusted around stone, not dramatically, persistently. Staff who had braced at carriage arrivals softened by degrees. Wren's nephew brought breakfast without the corridor-wide announcement that preceded meals in the old Nova's first month. The stable master nodded when Nova passed, not deferential, recognizing. Lady Kira had hired him. He had watched one child become weapon and another become something he did not have a household word for yet. Nova noticed because noticing was procedure. Manor dynamics were data. Data said, inquiry settlement changed ambient temperature. Not forgiveness. Recalibration. Rian moved through West Wing with the same schedule, correspondence, council, estate accounts, but his eyes found her in common spaces now without the microbrace staff had learned to read. He asked about academy examination aftermath once at breakfast. She said, rank 4 confirmed. Year 3 opens advanced tracks. He said, Mavit's reports stopped after dismissal. She said, Crane's didn't. He filed that without comment. Theo moved between schoolroom and garden with folio and the particular focus of someone who had learned that family crisis did not pause technical work. He showed her run 6 at afternoon. Variance hold across humidity swing wider than run 5. He did not ask about havoc again. He did not need to. The inquiry lived in the household now as completed shape, not open wound. She spent mornings in the library. Not hiding. Reading foundational texts with the different eyes 2 years of academy gave, seeing exception gaps where she had once seen only notation. Mother's approach, Rian had said in the 20th day meeting. She was ready to admit the approach had become hers. Afternoons in the garden. Palms not pressed to wall. Node grammar suspected but not verified at Manor, different from Academy Node 19, possibly related, not tonight's work. Evenings at desk in her room. Notebook entries compressed. Manor Day 4 post-settlement. Staff ambient, improved. Father, asks Academy questions. Brother, runs 6 stable. East Wing, locked. No request yet. She had not requested East Wing access. When you're ready, implied readiness test. Havoc had been readiness test 1. She was counting. Ren found her in the kitchen corridor on day 5, not accident. Ren did not do accident. He said, you're eating. She said, Ren. He said, the East Wing study stays locked because the Duke keeps the key and the Duke decides timing. I am not the Duke. I am telling you the 3rd shelf in the library has a gap behind the newer compendium where your mother kept overflow references. If you are looking for context before context behind a locked door, start there. He left. Nova stood in the kitchen corridor and understood Ren had known Kira and was offering navigation without betrayal of Rian's timing. She went to the library. Found the gap. Found 3 reference folios, not proof, not working notes. Citation indices to texts the approved curriculum had demoted to historical curiosity. She copied what she could to memory before dinner. Proof path narrowing. Not door yet. Direction. Day 6. Formal lunch with Eastern District Magistrate, not Havoc. Unrelated estate boundary matter. Rian included Nova at table for the first time since arrival. She sat, answered 2 questions about academy examination with appropriate brevity, did not perform rank 4, did not perform remorse for Havoc, did not perform the old Nova's social appetite. The magistrate left. Rian said, you were precise. She said, thank you. He said, precision is not visibility. Theo's line. Rian's recycling. Family grammar migrating between mouths. She said, I know. He looked at her 1 beat longer than paperwork required. Filed. The East Wing corridor at dusk. She walked it daily now without knocking, learning the door the way she learned authentication subsets. Grain of wood, brass fitting wear, dust pattern. The faint inscription trace above the frame that might be ward or might be heritage maintenance pretending ward. Locked. Rian had the key. Or her key from the false drawer bottom in the first month opened it. Chapter notes said to be determined. She had not tested her key. Testing without permission was breach. Breach had costs at Manor different from Academy. She was not ready to pay unauthorized cost. She was ready to pay authorized ask. Not yet spoken. Day 7. Last full day before carriage return. Theo asked at garden bench, "Will you come back before year 3 midterm?" She said, "If summoned." He said, "That's father language." She said, "It's accurate language." He kicked gravel once, not tantrum, frustration compressed. He said, "The study is still locked." She said, "I know." He said, "You paid Havoc." She said, "Yes." He said, "That doesn't open doors." She said, "No. It proves I know what doors cost." He went quiet. Loop notation in folio open between them. Rank 3 hidden. Mother's proof behind locked door. Sister who had paid personal allowance for a conservatory she did not remember destroying. Brother who deserved to answer with more warmth than she knew how to give without performing warmth. She said soon. One word. Vague by necessity. He accepted vague because vague from this Nova was more than certainty from the old one. Rian at evening, not portrait hall, study, door open for once. He said, "Carriage at second hour." She said, "I'll be ready." He said, "Havoc matter is closed." She said, "Yes." Pause. He said, "The east wing." Her pulse did not change. Visible pulse control was old skill. She said, "When I'm ready." Echoing his phrase back without mockery. His expression shifted, recalculation, the courtyard 12 seconds, the 20th day meeting, Havoc letter, portrait hall question. He said, "You're closer." Not permission. Assessment. She said, "I know." He closed the study door. Not rejection. Boundary holding until authentication cleared. She packed that night. Letter from Theo in the folio pocket runs 6 summary. No loops in courier safe language. Notebook under mattress edge returned to empty. Nothing written in manor rooms that could not travel encrypted in head. Havoc's cost sat in accounts. East Wing's cost sat ahead. Manor week after settlement had taught her what settlement did not buy, not father's key, not proof, not erasure of watchfulness, only the right to be watched without bracing. She lay awake, listened to Manor breathe, and thought about Caden in the capital Corel logging movement. Torrens drawer with 7 names. The enemy she had named in the garden still held only in memory. Debt inherited from the body you wore did not end with Havoc, it reordered creditors. Day 5 brought rain that committed after threatening all week. Manor smelled like whetstone and kitchen fire. Nova spent the morning copying citation indices from the library gap folios into Cipher memory. Not proof, navigation, the map of what Kira had read before she built what the desk held. Afternoon she helped Ren's nephew sort delivery receipts in the correspondence office without being asked. Small work. Visible work. The kind of work the old Nova would not have touched because small was beneath her and visible was only useful when weaponized. She filed receipts. She did not perform humility. She performed competence in a corridor where staff could revise their model of who lived in this body now. Ren passed once. He said, "Your mother sorted receipts in bad weather too." She said, "I know." He left. That was the whole conversation. That was also confirmation that Kira had been present in negative space long before the east wing door opened. Evening rain continued. Theo at dinner said the schoolmaster had asked about academy enrollment timeline. Nova looked at Rian. Rian said, "Next year is premature." Theo said, "I know." He looked at Nova. Not plea. Assessment. Rank 3 hidden. Loop stable. Manor school pace ahead of standard track. Brother risk category expanding without map travel. She said, "Year 3 first. We document. We do not accelerate visibility." Theo said, "Precision is not visibility." Family grammar again. Rian's mouth moved, almost expression contained. The meal continued. Afterward Nova stood in the east wing corridor while rain hit the window at the corridor end and listened to the house settle around a week that had started with summons and inquiry and would end with locked door still waiting and key not yet offered. She did not knock. Readiness was not impatience. It was Havoc settled and father recalibrating and staff revising and brother asking enrollment questions and library gap folios copied and receipts filed in rain. Readiness was stack. Tomorrow she would ask. Enough. She asked on the last morning before carriage. Not dramatic. Tea in West Wing study. Rian at desk. Transfer confirmations filed. Havoc withdrawal on record. The household week completing its arc from summons to settlement to departure. She said, I want access to the East Wing study. He did not look up immediately. Pen finished a notation. Set down. He said, why now? Not refusal. Question. She said, Havek was debt from a body I wear. The study is debt from a mother I lost. I can't pay the second one with allowance. Silence. His hands on desk, large, right knuckles irregular from old injury, still. He said, what do you think is in there? She said, her work. Incomplete or complete. Something the curriculum removed. Something Crane's framework would not want published. She did not say proof. She did not say 6 times efficiency. She did not say vaulted circle or silence or 19 notes. Manor was not Thursday channel. He said, you've been thorough. Not compliment. Observation. She said, I've had 2 years. He said, you've had 5 since she died. Correction. Timeline true. She said, I wasn't ready 5 years ago. He said, were you ready 2 years ago? The old Nova's timeline. Academy departure. The girl who sent Cascade couriers. She said, no. Honest. He said, are you ready now? She said, I'm ready to find out. Not the same as yes. He understood the difference. Mother had been mathematician before she was mother. Precision ran in the house whether or not inscription boards recognized it. He stood. Walked to inner study cabinet. Returned with a key brass, worn, not the false drawer key she had found in month 1, older, heavier. He set it on desk between them. He said, the door stays locked when you're not in the room. Staff do not enter. Theo may enter if you invite him, not before. Pause. What you find in there is not mine to preview. I haven't opened the desk in 6 years. She said, you haven't. He said, I couldn't open the desk. Your mother built locks inscription shaped. I am not Cipher complete. The container phrase again, very gifted holding more than words carried. I kept the room because removing it would have been erasure. Locking it was the only preservation I knew. She looked at the key. Brass worn where fingers had turned it for 6 years of not entering. She said, thank you. She meant it. Not strategy. Unusual. He said, don't thank me yet. She took the key. Weight less than folder weight of Havok claim. Heavier in direction. The East Wing corridor at mid-morning. Theo at school. Staff routed away, Wren's doing, probably, kitchen sovereignty extending to corridor traffic. She stood at the door. Key in hand. Dusted frame. Inscription trace above lintel, authentication grammar or heritage. She would know when she looked with time. She turned the key. The lock released with the sound of something that had been waiting. The study smelled like closed room and ink and the particular absence of a person who worked here daily until she did not. Not dust neglect. Preserved absence. Rian had kept the room. He had not lived in it. She entered. Closed door. Locked from inside. Inventory. Desk center, inscription desk, old wood, underside carved with notation she would need 3 days to parse. For summaries she had not read yet, but intuited from every thread pulled since month 1. Shelves with texts in mother's order. Subject not color. Rian's habit inherited or matched. Window overlooking garden where Theo practiced loops. Chair with indent and cushion. Kira Vane's chair. Not proof yet. Room first. Proof was in the desk if every clue for 2 years was correct. She would not open the vault today. Today was permission. Today was recalibration, Rian giving key. Rian admitting he could not open desk. Rian saying I kept the room because erasure was worse than lock. She walked perimeter. Touch spine of foundational text on shelf. Mother's margin notes visible through worn binding. Questions not answers. Touched window glass. Garden below. Semicircle tablets. Third planter where Theo had found the box. Touched desk edge. Did not write vault sequence. Not yet. 3 days to parse underside inscriptions per the shape of the work ahead. Carriage at second hour. She had 40 minutes. She sat in Kira's chair. 40 minutes of being in the room she had been walking toward since when you're ready. Guilt sat beside her, not Havok guilt, older guilt, the guilt of surviving in a mother's room while mother was paint and proof and locked preservation. Debt inherited from body you wear met debt inherited from blood you carried. Different creditors. Same house. She wrote in notebook, private cipher on manor paper she would burn before carriage. East wing open. Key from Rian. Desk locked, inscription shaped. Father could not open 6 years. Room preserved, not erased. Vault not yet opened. Proof path active. Havoc paid. Mother waiting in desk. She burned the page in desk lamp. Ash in tray. Cipher in head. 40 minutes ended. She locked the study. Returned key to Rian in West Wing. He said, "You didn't stay long." She said, "Carriage." He said, "You didn't open the desk." Not accusation. She said, "I need time, I don't have today." He said, "Next visit." Not question. She said, "Yes." He took the key back. Held it. He said, "Nova." Her name without title, second time in a week, portrait hall, and now. He said, "She would have wanted you to read carefully." She said, "I know." He returned to paperwork. The carriage waited in courtyard. Theo came from schoolroom with folio and no attaché, manor departure, family only. Garden first. Not negotiation. Request. She said, "Walk with me." He said, "Yes." Inscription garden. Semicircle. Third from left tablet. Note grammar in wall if she pressed, she did not press. She said, "East Wing study open today." I sat in the room. I didn't open mother's desk. He said, "Why tell me?" She said, "Because you found her notes in the planter. Because you have right to know the room isn't only mine." His throat moved. He said, "What's in the desk?" She said, "I think proof. I think something they didn't want published. I think why Crane visits and why curriculum lies." He absorbed. 15. Rank 3. Loop stable. He said, "When?" She said, "Next visit." I need 3 days with the desk inscriptions. I need rank 5 standing eventually. I need, she stopped. Need was dangerous word. He said, "Need what?" She said, "Need to not destroy what she built by reading it wrong." He nodded. He understood wrong reading, cascade syntax and archive, conservatory collapse, 2 years of silence. He said, "Show me the room next time." She said, "Yes." Not if. Yes. They walked to carriage together. Rian in courtyard, unexpected, not 12 seconds, 5 seconds enough. He said, "Safe return." She said, "I'll send word." Theo raised one hand. She raised one back. Departure mirrored her first leave-taking from Manor, without the same innocence. Carriage rolled. Hills descended toward Capital. She sat with folio and empty pocket where burned ash had been and key memory in hand that was not key brass weight, father's admission, mother's room, desk vault waiting. Guilt and proof path ran parallel. Havoc paid. East Wing open, one room, not one desk. Framework silent in head. Silence unwritten. Rank 5 ahead. Caden watching in Capital. Torin holding 7 names. Proof behind inscription lock only Cipher could write. She opened notebook in carriage, legitimate cover, humidity homework, and wrote in Cipher, "Return to Capital." Manor week complete. Inquiry settled. East Wing accessed, not opened. Father recalibrated. Brother invited, next visit. Proof path confirmed, not executed. Debt stack reordered. Next, desk inscriptions. Next, rank 5. Next, break the silence when standing allows. She closed notebook. Capital approached. Year 3 waited. The body had paid 1 creditor. The daughter would pay the next. 6 hours in carriage. She reviewed East Wing room layout in memory. Shelf order, chair indent, window angle to third planter, desk position, underside inscriptions glimpsed but not parsed. 3 days minimum for vault. Rank 5 eventually for legal access to what proof implied. Torin on Thursday would receive. Manor week complete. Inquiry settled. East Wing accessed. Desk pending. Not 7 names. Not map. Not silence spoken aloud. Operational channel discipline held even when guilt and proof path burned parallel in the carriage quiet. Sarah would ask how Manor was. Nova would say accurate. Accurate was not warm. Accurate was survivable. The capital appeared on the horizon with inscription lights pulsing low calibration heartbeat through evening gray. Year 3 ahead. Proof ahead. Standing ahead. The body had paid havoc. The daughter would open the desk when time and Cipher allowed. Enough. The key arrived without ceremony. Rian left it on the breakfast sideboard between the correspondence tray and the pot of tea Ren kept at temperature for people who ate early and worked late. Brass, worn at the bow where Lady Kira's thumb had turned it for years, tagged with a strip of estate linen that said East Wing Study in Perrin's administrative hand and nothing else. Nova found it on the fourth morning of the family week, one day after the inquiry correspondence closed and the minor noble's claim dissolved into the kind of silence great houses purchased when fighting would cost more than settling. She held the key until the metal warmed. Ren passed through the hall with a tray and did not look at the key and did not look at it, which was Manor staff grammar for this is correct and I will not make it a scene. Nova ate. She filed the key in her pocket beside the travel notebook and the Kira record Torin had handed her in year 2 and the memorized catalog indices that lived in her head where seizure could not reach without taking her first. The inquiry was settled. The allowance transfer had gone out with language careful enough to avoid formal guilt and sufficient enough to make pursuit unprofitable. Rian had watched the correspondence leave without comment. Later, privately, he had said you could have fought that claim and she had said I know and he had said why didn't you and she had said because I should have apologized 2 years ago and he had gone back to paperwork without answering because some answers were not yet speakable between them. That was yesterday. Today was East Wing. She waited until mid-morning when the household ran on administrative rhythm and the inscription garden stood empty of students because Theo was in the schoolroom and attaché summaries were not due until afternoon. She crossed the central hall where stone held autumn cold in the joints and climbed the east wing stairs that smelled of beeswax and old paper and the particular stillness rooms acquired when someone important stopped living in them, but nobody agreed to say so out loud. The study door was heavier than West Wing doors. Dark wood. Brass plate worn smooth. Lock mouth that had not been turned in 5 years according to household record and 6 according to grief. She fitted the key. The mechanism resisted once, then yielded with the reluctant honesty of hardware that remembered use. The room breathed out. Not dust exactly. Absence made physical. Kira Vane's study had been kept. Not curated into shrine the way Alia spoke about it in corridors. Kept. Chairs positioned as if someone might return. Lamp wicks trimmed. Window casements functional. Shelves holding texts organized by problem domain rather than acquisition date, which Nova recognized because Torin organized the same way and because her own mind organized the same way when nobody was performing pedagogy at her. The desk stood against the north wall beneath a window that looked over the inscription garden's east shelter and the third planter and the semicircle of practice tablets and the dry fountain basin where midnight work happened in capital stone while Manor Hills held different silence. The desk was old. Not decorative old. Working old. Ink scars in the writing surface. Brass corner fittings dulled by elbows. A single drawer with a lock she did not test yet because locks were stories, and she had learned to read stories in order. She closed the study door. Stood in the center of the room. Let her eyes adjust. Let her body understand that she was inside a boundary the household had maintained around a dead woman's unfinished thinking for half a decade. Her mother had worked here. Not metaphorically. Here. This chair. This light at this hour. This angle on the garden where Theo now practiced pause notation under attaché eyes and Rian watched from windows he pretended were about estate security. Nova crossed to the desk. She did not sit in Kira's chair yet. Standing was respect and standing was also operational distance. She opened the top drawer. Empty except a hairline groove in the wood lining that suggested false bottom architecture without confirming it. She closed the drawer. She knelt. The desk's underside was where the room changed from preserved study to active problem. Inscription work covered the wood in layers. Not decorative frieze. Not heritage mimicry. Cipher notation dense enough that her cipher affinity answered before her conscious analysis finished assembling grammar. Strokes that compressed conditional trees into symbols standard curriculum called archaic because archaic was the institution's favorite word for dangerous legibility. She traced one line with her eyes without touching. The ink was old. The structure was alive. Her hands wanted to write response notation immediately. Procedure said no. Day 1 was observation. Day 1 was mapping. Day 1 was understanding what kind of vault she was looking at before she offered any input the vault might read as combination attempt. She rose. Found a side table with blank notation paper still stacked, Manor housekeeping replacing consumables on schedule that treated dead scholars like scholars who might return hungry. She carried paper to the desk. She lit the lamp though morning light was adequate because Kira's lamp had been part of the room's working grammar and lamps changed how ink read at depth. She began copying underside segments into her travel notebook using Cipher shorthand she had built from Garden Midnight and Torrin Thursday compression and Mother's margin questions memorized from Theo's box and returned. Not copying blindly. Annotating function guesses in margins. Authentication subset here. Exception branch here. Self-referential loop closure here that should not exist in furniture unless furniture was also security architecture. Hour passed. Then another. Footsteps in the hall once, Perrin's cadence, pause, retreat without knock. The household knew she was in here. The household would not interrupt unless fire or Duke summoned. She worked until her neck ached from kneeling angles and standing angles alternated. At lunch she did not go down. Ren sent a tray with bread and sliced apple and a note that said eat anyway in handwriting that had fed Vane children through worse rooms than this one. Nova ate standing at the window overlooking the garden. Theo was visible below doing form drills with the attaché at respectful distance. He did not look up. She did not wave. Brother cover held. She returned to the desk. Afternoon light shifted the underside inscriptions into different shadow valleys. Strokes that had looked like decorative overlap in morning became sequence markers in afternoon. That was Cipher Works' habit. Time and angle were part of the reading key. She adjusted the lamp. She copied more. She did not write combination attempts. She did not open false bottoms with force. Force was for people who did not have affinity and patience in equal measure. She had both. She had time for now. The family week still had days. The inquiry was behind her. The East Wing was finally in front of her. At evening Rian sent no summons. Theo knocked once on the study door at supper hour, did not enter, said through wood, Ren says you miss soup. Nova said, tell Ren I ate. Theo said, she'll want to hear it from you. Nova opened the door 2 inches. Theo looked at her with the assessment of a 15-year-old who had learned to read rooms the way she read authentication grammar. He said, is it hers? Not a question about the room. A question about what she was finding. Nova said yes. He absorbed that. He said, don't show attaché anything that glows. Nova almost smiled. Almost. She said, I won't. He left. She closed the door. Lamp on. Underside waiting. She wrote in the notebook before returning to copy work. Day 1 East Wing study. Key from sideboard, no speech. Room kept not shrine. Desk underside heavily inscribed, cipher density higher than garden box, lower than restricted catalog memory, but same grammar family. Hypothesis, security object not furniture. False bottom probable in primary drawer. Combination unknown. No attempt tonight. Observation only. Brother saw door, no exposure. Inquiry settled yesterday. Public rank 4 unchanged. Private unchanged. Mother worked here. Proof may be here. Do not rush vault. Vault punishes rush. Attribution. Private cipher notebook, Manor East Wing. She copied until lamplight and window dark merged into one working illumination. Then she stood in the center of Kira Vane's study 1 more minute. Not prayer. Orientation. The desk was not furniture. The desk was question. Day 1 had not answered it. Day 1 had confirmed it was worth 3 more days minimum, and however many after that the proof required. She locked the door from inside when she finally left for sleep. She gave the key back to the sideboard because trust was also procedure. Rian's correspondence lamp was still burning in West Wing when she passed the hall junction. He did not come out. She did not go in. Some doors opened on schedule. The East Wing had opened today. That was enough for one day. She slept in her manor room with underside notation, replaying behind her eyes like code she had almost compiled. Tomorrow was day 2. The desk would still be there. So would the combination she could not yet see. She dreamed of cipher strokes that folded into drawer mouths and woke before dawn with a function guess already formed for the segment above the left rear leg. She rose. She ate because Wren would hear about it. She climbed East Wing stairs while the household was still routing mourning. She unlocked the study. She knelt beneath the desk. Day 2 began where Day 1 had ended. Observation. Mapping. The vault combination, still hidden in grammar, only a Cipher mage would write. She was a Cipher mage. The room knew it. The ink knew it. She had not yet written back. That came next. Not yet. First, the desk had to teach her its language completely enough that when she wrote the sequence, she would write it once and correctly. Day 1 complete. The East Wing study was no longer a locked roomer in household corridors. It was a workspace again, hers for now by permission and inheritance and necessity. She bent to the underside and kept reading. Day 2 taught her the desk's temper. Cipher notation on furniture was not like cipher notation on paper or stone or garden wall hum. Wood held ink differently. Grain pulled strokes microscopically over years until lines that had been precise became precise in a new direction. Temperature in the East Wing shifted between morning cold and afternoon sun-warmed casement breath, and the underside shadows moved. And segments that had looked sequential on Day 1 looked hierarchical on Day 2 until she corrected angle with a hand mirror stolen from the guest bath and propped against the floor with a book weight. She did not touch the ink. Touching was input. Input was risk before understanding. She mapped on paper instead. Function boxes. Arrows. The habit of a mind that thought in structures. Authentication gate at the left front quarter. Routing layer across central spine beam. Exception handler disguised as decorative vine curl that was not vine and not decorative. Self-referential closure near the right rear leg that pointed back to the drawer mouth without naming drawer in any stroke a standard mage could read. By evening Day 2, she had a partial grammar. Not combination. Grammar. The difference mattered. Combination was what you wrote to open. Grammar was what the vault used to decide whether your writing counted as cipher at all. She ate dinner in the hall because Wren had threatened to climb the East Wing stairs with soup otherwise. Rian was present at the far end of the table reading correspondence while he ate. He did not ask about the study. She did not offer report. The silence between them had changed texture since the inquiry settled, less adversarial weather, more two people standing on opposite banks of a river they had finally agreed was real. Theo talked about schoolroom humidity drills with the attaché watching his phrasing. Nova listened. Filed brother cover as holding. Filed desk grammar as incomplete. Day 3, she stopped eating lunch again. Wren left the tray without comment. Nova worked through afternoon until the underside stopped being a flat field of strokes and became a machine diagram in her head. Vault. The word arrived without drama. No sudden revelation music. Just structural recognition the way she had recognized anchor notes in practice hall foundation corners and garden retaining hum and restricted catalog desk frequency. The desk was a vault. The vault's lock was not key and not pick and not force. The lock was inscription sequence. Specific sequence. Cipher sequence only a cipher mage could write because the grammar gate rejected standard notation at the first conditional branch. She sat back on her heels in Kira's study with lamplight making a small sun on the floorboards and understood why Rian had said when you're ready for 5 years instead of when you're ranked or when you're older. Ready meant affinity. Ready meant reading what was here without destroying it. Ready meant being able to write back in the language the vault demanded. She was ready enough to try. Not yet. One more pass. Verification was how you survived when wrong input might seal a false bottom permanently or trigger defensive inscription. She did not have standing to counter. Day 3 night, she copied the candidate sequence into the travel notebook 3 times with variations eliminated. Morning Day 4, she knelt beneath the desk one last hour without writing on wood. Then she stood. She cleared the desk surface. She took the precision stylus from her bag, Academy issue, metal shaft, familiar weight. She breathed. Cipher ink gathered at the tip the way it gathered when affinity answered call and mana knew what grammar expected. She wrote on the underside where the grammar gate waited. Not on the old ink. Beside it. New strokes. Clean input. Sequence derived from 3 days mapping. Conditional branch 1. Density normalization preamble because wood grain had drifted and vault logic would account for drift only if writer accounted first. Exception closure. Self-referential loop completion. Final stroke. The desk shuddered once. Not visible movement. Felt movement. Mana acknowledgement traveling through brass fittings and old oak like a system receiving authenticated credential. Inside the primary drawer, something released. Nova opened the drawer. The false bottom had risen half a finger width along the left seam. She slid her fingertips into the gap and lifted. The compartment beneath was shallow and deep at once, shallow physically, deep in what it meant. Empty of jewelry. Empty of letters. Empty of the kind of secrets nobles hid when they hid objects. The compartment held space where something had lain long enough to press its absence into lining cloth. Nova stared at the empty recess. Her heart did not break. Her heart recalibrated. The vault had opened. Therefore the combination was correct. Therefore the desk had done its job. Therefore whatever had been hidden here had been removed or had never been returned after last use or was hidden in a second layer she had not yet mapped. She did not panic. Panic was standard mage response. She was Cipher. She examined the compartment lining. She examined the false bottom's underside. She examined the drawer walls. No second mechanism. No residual notation. No proof pages. Only cloth depression shaped like stacked paper approximately finger thick. 47 pages would leave that shape. She sat in Kira's chair for the first time. The chair accepted her weight with the impartiality of furniture that had held a dead woman and did not care about succession politics. The proof had been here. The proof was not here now, which meant removal or relocation or the cruelest option. Someone had opened the vault before Nova and taken contents while leaving vault mechanics intact. She rejected the cruelest option first because Rian had not opened this room in 5 years according to every household signal, and Rian did not have Cipher affinity to right combination anyway. Removal by Kira herself was possible. Kira hiding elsewhere was possible. Second compartment was possible. She returned to underside notation with new eyes. 3 hours later she found it. Not a second false bottom in the drawer. A lateral slide in the desk body triggered only when drawer compartment was open and a specific pressure point on the right rear leg inscription was held while Cipher acknowledgement still lived in the wood from successful combination. Kira had built security in stages. Open Vault 1 to reveal absence that taught intruders they were too late. Open Vault 2 if you understood absence was also grammar. Nova held the pressure point. The lateral panel in the desk's right side eased outward half a hand width. Inside, wrapped oilcloth. Inside oilcloth, stacked pages bound with cord through punched holes. Cipher notation on every sheet. Mathematical derivation in margins. Hands she knew from Garden Box and Theofolio and memory of a woman she had never met but had been reading toward her entire second life. Lady Kira Vane's proof. Nova did not read yet. She closed the lateral panel. She closed the false bottom. She locked the drawer. She sat in the chair with oilcloth bundle on the desk and breathed until her hands stopped trembling from the thin difference between triumph and catastrophe. She wrote in the notebook, Day 4. Vault confirmed. Combination is Cipher sequence only, grammar gate on underside. 3-day read required before write. False bottom opens on authenticated sequence. Primary compartment empty by design or by prior extraction shape, 47-page depression consistent. Secondary lateral slide in desk body, pressure point right rear leg plus open state. Proof located. Not yet read. Do not announce. Do not carry through hall unwrapped. Copy plan required. Rian does not know open state. Household does not know. Proof 7 years old per prior hypothesis. Verify on read. This is the submission Grand Archive never received. This is Bay 4 Tier 2 sister document. This is why they ate her name. She unwrapped one corner. First page title line in Cipher notation translating to something like efficiency ceiling as imposed constraint. She wrapped it again. Reading would be one sitting. Reading would change the room. Reading would change what she owed Rian and Torin and the capital and the framework already named in her head as silence. She set the bundle in the lateral compartment. Closed it. Closed Vault 1. Left the study locked. Walked hall with empty hands and full memory of where proof lived. Dinner that night she tasted nothing. Theo said, "You look like you solved something." Nova said, "I'm working." He accepted that. Rian looked at her once across the table with the expression of a man who had handed over a key and was waiting to learn what door it had opened without yet being told. She did not tell him. Not because secrecy was cruelty. Because proof required read first. Because grief required order. Because when she told him she needed to hold the entire 47 pages in her head so her voice would not shake when she placed them on his desk. Day 4 ended with vault open and proof found and reading still ahead. Day 5 would be the sitting. The desk was no longer question. The desk was answer container. She climbed East Wing stairs after dark with lamp and oilcloth and the discipline to read all 47 pages before she slept. The study waited. So did her mother's math. Nova unlocked the door. She sat in Kira's chair. She began to read. She read without stopping. Lampwick trimmed twice. Tea cooled untouched. Footsteps in the hall did not exist. The East Wing study contracted to one chair, one desk, one oilcloth bundle becoming pages, becoming proof, becoming the clearest articulation of institutional lie she had ever held in physical form. Lady Kira Vane had not written for drama. She had written for the Grand Archive. 47 pages of careful cipher notation and mathematical derivation laid out with the patience of someone who expected hostile reviewers and intended to survive them. Page 1 established baseline. Approved inscription framework efficiency measured against theoretical mana conversion maximum. The gap was not ignorance. The gap was imposed ceiling. Page 7 named the mechanism. Routing grammar and standard notation carried redundant authentication overhead by design, not accident, not pedagogical simplification, design. The overhead capped output. The cap looked like natural limit. Students hit it and believed they had hit physics. Page 14 derived the correction. Cipher notation accessed conditional branch space standard grammar could not reach without collapsing. Not because cipher was magic in superstitious sense. Because cipher was alternate logical grammar with different exception handling. Mother had mapped the full theoretical basis. Page 22 quantified effect. Cipher mage operating at full theoretical basis could produce inscription effects at approximately 6 times the energy efficiency of standard system. 6 times. Not metaphor. Derivation with test notation appended in appendix strokes showing experimental confirmation on small arrays. Page 31 addressed objection she could already hear in Crane's warm voice. Stability. Kira had not dismissed stability. Kira had separated stability from artificial throttle. Framework could remain stable without pretending efficiency ceiling was law of nature. Page 41 listed institutional implications if proof published. Curriculum revision. Rank assessment reform. Authentication node audit. Economic disruption in inscription material markets tied to inefficiency rents. Page 47 closed without rhetoric. Summary restatement. Submission notation for Grand Archive Registry. Dateline 7 years prior. Hand study. No flourish. Magnificent and incomplete was Theo's phrase from Garden Box Margins. Magnificent was correct. Incomplete was not failure. Incomplete meant mother had died before extension work finished, before second paper, before the living continuation children were supposed to provide. Nova turned page 47 back to page 1. She read again faster, checking her own understanding against derivation steps. No fault found. No wishful misread. No emotional override making math say what she wanted. 7 years old. Still correct. She knew because 19 anchor nodes had taught her what imposed ceilings looked like in stone. She knew because restricted catalog had listed 14 cipher texts as dangerous theory. She knew because Torrens 7 researchers had published innovation and been removed when innovation threatened approved grammar. The proof was not opinion. The proof was lever. She set the stack on the desk exactly where oilcloth had been. She aligned edges with cord holes true. She sat with empty desk surface and full proof and did not move for a long time. Empty desk was lie and truth at once. Drawer compartment still held depression shape where pages had pressed. Lateral slide still held cord-bound stack now removed to desktop. The desk had done its job 5 years ago and again today. Kira had hidden proof where only cipher air could read. Kira had not hidden it from family forever. Kira had hidden it from institution until family could speak institution language back. Nova's throat hurt. Not crying yet. The kind of hurt that came when two griefs aligned, grief for mother who died and grief for mother who had been right and grief for world that had preferred throttle to truth. Outside window the inscription garden lay in afternoon gold. Theo moved through form drills visible as small figure from this height. Attaché at distance. Brothers still inside cover. Proof on desk said brother's loop notation was not anomaly. Proof on desk said mother's ability in two airs was pattern institution would classify as threat. Proof on desk said Bay 4 Tier 2 locked text and vanished submission and carriage accident were not separate misfortunes. Silence in her head received confirmation without celebration. Confirmation was colder than hypothesis. Hypothesis let you pretend you might be wrong. Proof removed pretend. She thought about Rian keeping East Wing locked not as denial, but as preservation. She thought about Vethan Crane telling a grieving Duke that submission was never received. Very sorry about it. She thought about Torin handing her pre-archive record with Kira name and research flagged notation. She thought about rank 4 public and rank 5, still ahead and 19 nodes mapped and word erased in Midnight Garden. She thought about Crane at examination observer distance, watching rank 4 loop with visible pleasure, and how pleasure was pipelined when standing conversation had not yet earned legal access. She thought about heads favorable with caution eyes becoming weather on clipboard passes. She thought about Caden's 45 words in dormitory doorway and restricted section stated as cover for something larger neither of them had named. The proof did not solve operation. The proof made operation morally non-optional in a new register. She could not unread 47 pages. She could not return them to lateral slide and pretend family week was only inquiry settlement and garden cover maintenance. She had to tell Rian. Not tonight. Tonight she needed copy protocol, and she needed to sit long enough that her hands would not shake when she carried oilcloth through West Wing corridor in morning light where any servant might glance, and any glance might become attaché summary by afternoon. Tonight she needed the empty desk to hold her still while mathematics finished rearranging every assumption she had carried since waking in a dead girl's life, and deciding without fully understanding why to try. Tonight she needed memory backup because paper could be seized and Manor could burn, and only one original existed in her hands. She lit a second lamp. She began copying. Not all 47, time insufficient for full duplicate before dawn. Critical derivation chain. Efficiency ceiling mechanism. 6 times quantification. Institutional implication list. Enough that loss of original would not mean loss of truth. Cipher shorthand compressed where Kira's public-facing notation had been expansive for archive reviewers. Her hand ached. Affinity made copying faster than standard mage could manage, but not fast enough to erase risk. She stopped at page 38 equivalent in copy volume. Wrapped original in oilcloth again. Returned original to lateral compartment. Secured vault layers. Kept copy pages in travel notebook fold. She rewrote cipher lock on daily. She wrote in the notebook. Proof read one sitting. 47 pages. Efficiency ceiling artificially imposed. Redundant authentication overhead by design. Cipher at full theoretical basis, approximately 6 times standard energy efficiency. Derivation holds. Experimental appendix consistent. 7 years old, still correct. Submission prepared for Grand Archive, never received per Rian prior hint. Vethan apology pending confirmation. Magnificent. Incomplete only because she died. Original in desk vault 2. Partial copy in fold. Tell Rian next. Do not tell Crane. Do not tell Attaché. Do not tell Head. Torin after Rian or with Rian. Witness protocol revision required. Bay 4 Tier 2 text still locked. Proof is legal standing seed. Proof is counter grammar. Sit with desk long time done. Room feels emptied. Mother feels present and absent simultaneously. Next, father. She sat with empty desk until lamp oil ran low. Empty desk and full vault and mother math in her head. The East Wing study had given her what 5 years of locked door promised. Not comfort. Legibility. She locked the study. She descended stairs quiet. Household slept. Rian's West Wing lamp was out. Tomorrow she would place proof on his desk and watch his face. Tonight she lay in bed with derivation steps replaying and 6 times efficiency burning behind her eyes like number that could rewrite kingdom if anyone with standing published it. She had standing of a kind now. Rank 4 public. Duke's daughter. Cipher affinity confirmed by Torin in private channel. Not enough yet. More than yesterday. Proof made the path forward narrower and clearer at once. No more wondering if Mother had been destroyed for paranoia or politics alone. Destroyed for being correct. Nova slept 2 hours of that. Rose at first light. 8. Climbed East Wing. Retrieved proof from vault. Wrapped oilcloth under arm. Walked West Wing corridor to Rian's study door. Knocked. He said, "Come in." She entered. She set the proof on his desk. She watched his face. The sitting with empty desk was over. The sitting with father began. Rian looked at the oilcloth bundle the way people looked at ordnance. Not because paper exploded. Because truth did when placed on the wrong desk at the wrong time by the right person. He did not touch it immediately. His hands stayed flat beside correspondence stack he had been working when she knocked. Priority order visible. Time-sensitive letters on left. His daughter standing in front of him with proof that should have changed the kingdom 7 years ago. Nova watched his face because faces were data and because she owed him the respect of not looking away when grief arrived. Recognition first. Not of notation. Of object shape. Of wrapping cloth estate kitchens used for documents that traveled dry. Of cord binding through punched holes Lady Kira preferred because pins tore pages and Kira did not tear pages. Then the drop. The specific collapse behind controlled political expression when something long feared true became true in daylight. He said, "I thought it was lost." Voice level. Not broken. Cracked at foundation. She said, "It wasn't." He unwrapped one corner with hands that knew this hand. He did not need to read derivation to confirm. He needed 3 strokes of cipher margin to confirm. His breath changed once. He said, "She hid it in the inscription desk." Not a question. Statement arriving in air already answered by bundle on his desk and daughter, who had opened East Wing vault without instruction manual. Nova said nothing to correct him. Correction would have been insult. He sat. Not invited her to sit. She remained standing because standing kept the moment from becoming meeting and meeting would have let them both hide. Silence lengthened. Manor sounds filtered through West Wing window, distant stable cough, kitchen prep rhythm, ordinary life continuing around a room where history recomposed itself. After a long time he said, she was going to submit it to the Grand Archive. Nova said, "I know." Longer silence. His thumb pressed cord binding hole where Kira's thread had worn smooth. He said, "Vane told me the submission was never received." He was very sorry about it. Nova watched his face. She said, "Was he?" Not question either. Grammar matching his. Statement carrying 18 months of capital education and restricted catalog memory and Crane's creamstock door language and Godfather warmth that filed scholarship students into pipelines. Rian looked at her. Something shifted in his expression. Recalculation. The kind she had seen in courtyard 12 seconds before carriage departure. The kind that meant a man who had been bracing for one daughter was receiving another. He said, "Nova." First time without title. Not Lady Novalis. Not the air form. Not the political address. Nova. Her name in his mouth sounded like door opening inward. She said, "Don't say anything yet. Let me work." He closed his mouth. He nodded once. Not agreement to her operation. Agreement to pause. Agreement that whatever he was about to say, grief, rage, confession, command, could wait because his daughter had asked for work time and she was holding 47 pages of proof and she had opened a vault he could not have opened and she was not performing competence. She was deploying it. Nova took the bundle back from his desk. Not reclaiming secret. Establishing custody chain. She said, "I have a partial copy. Original returns to vault until we decide submission path. You don't tell Crane anything about what I'm working on. You don't tell Embassy Attaché. You don't tell Perrin's clipboard network. Theo knows I found something. He doesn't know what." Rian said, "You think Crane." She said, "I know Crane." Quiet. No theatrics. Certainty earned an examination hall and garden midnight and Thursday drawer with 7 names. Rian absorbed that. He said, "You're 16. She said, "I know that too." Beat. He said, Kira was 34. Not comparison of rank. Comparison of cost. Nova said, she was right. He looked at the empty space on desk where proof had been. He said, "I know." 2 words carrying 5 years of locked East Wing and inquiry settlement and 12 seconds in courtyard and every report he had read about Academy daughter developing in unexpected directions. He said, "What do you need?" Not question mark in voice. Opening. Nova said, "Time. Secure vault." When I returned to Academy, normal correspondence only on surface. If more than people come to Manor, you send fast message through Torin channel, not royal order first. Rian's jaw tightened at more than name. He said, "Why Torin?" She said, "Because he's been investigating removed researchers for 4 years without institutional protection, and he handed me Mother's pre-archive record, and he's the only faculty channel that survives if Crane is watching." Rian said, "You trust him." She said, "I trust his overlap. Not warmth. Precision." Rian stood. He walked to shelf. He took down a flat key she had not seen, darker brass than East Wing study key. He said, "West Wing records room. Estate copies of every formal submission attempt House Vane made in Kira's name, including registry receipts if they exist." I looked once. I didn't have grammar to read what was missing. He held key out. She took it. He said, "Don't say anything yet," was your line. She said, "Yes." He said, "I'm giving you this anyway." She left his study with proof under arm and West Wing key in pocket and his use of her name traveling ahead of her like warmth she did not trust and could not refuse. In East Wing, she restored original to lateral vault. Secured both layers. Copied registry receipt gap notes from West Wing records into Cipher fold after 20 minutes searching estate logs. Submission logged at Grand Archive intake desk on date matching proof page 47. Receipt number present. Hand on receipt was Kira's. Ink on registry copy was clerk's. The gap between them was 6 weeks of institutional procedure thick enough to hide disappearance from anyone not looking for disappearance on purpose. Follow-up letter from archive 6 weeks later saying materials unavailable for review pending classification. No returned manuscript. No reviewer assignment sheet. Pipeline disappearance documented in bureaucratic polite language. Kira had done everything right. Institution had done what silence did. She wrote in the notebook, Rian told. Face. Thought lost. Confirmed desk hide. Submission intent confirmed. Vethon apology on record. Was he, not rhetorical. First Nova without title. Don't say anything yet deployed. He agreed pause. Key to West Wing records. Registry receipt exists. Manuscript trail dead after classification pending. Custody, original vault, copy fold. Surface normal. Torin channel if manor threat. Next, finish family week. Return academy. Rank 5 path unchanged. Proof changes standing calculus not timeline yet. Dinner that evening Rian spoke about weather. Theo spoke about schoolroom. Nova spoke when spoken to. East Wing key remained on sideboard. West Wing records key stayed in her pocket. The household saw daughter who had spent week in mother's study and Duke who had looked tired before and looked tired still. No visible earthquake. Proof made the earthquake internal. After dinner Rian asked her to walk courtyard once. Not garden. Courtyard. Stone and distance from attaché windows. They walked one circuit without speaking. At the carriage turn he said, when you're back at academy. Pause. He said, write me letters that look ordinary. She said, I will. He said, I'll read them that way. She said, good. He stopped. Looked at East Wing windows dark above them. He said, she would have. Stopped himself. Nova waited. He said, work well. Not pride performance. Permission. She said, I intend to. He nodded. Walked inside without touching her shoulder. She understood the restraint. Touch would have made the moment legible to watchers. Restraint was how he loved things he could not yet protect. She filed that without resolving it. She stood in courtyard until cold came up from stone. Name without titles still in her ears. Don't say anything yet still in her mouth. Work ahead. Academy ahead. Proof in vault. Copy and fold. Father recalibrated. Mother vindicated in mathematics, if not yet in public record. Enough for one day. She climbed to bed. Tomorrow packing. Day after carriage. Return to capital where silence already ran underneath examination halls and garden hum and head clipboard and cadence watching log. Manor week was ending. Memory leak had become inheritance leak. She slept heavier than day one East Wing, not rested, but burdened in a direction that felt like forward. The last 2 days at Manor ran on departure procedure. Luggage. Embassy routing confirmation. Theo homework packed with humidity branch sheet Nova had corrected in margin and left deliberately because brother needed evidence that family attention continued without surveillance glow. Ren's road food. Perrin's clipboard checking guest room inventory as if Nova had been guest and not heir returning to primary posting. Ordinary costume over proof in vault and copy and fold and West Wing receipt gaps in memory and Rian's use of her name without title sitting in chest beside old Nova's debts partially paid. Nova spent final morning in East Wing study, not reading proof again. Stabilizing vault. Checking lateral slide. Leaving room kept not shrine. She stood once in center where day one had breathed absence out and day 4 had breathed proof in. She said nothing aloud to the room. She did not believe in speaking to dead. She believed in finishing work dead had started. She locked study. Returned key to sideboard. Rian was in West Wing. Theo was in schoolroom. She did not say goodbye to East Wing with ceremony. Ceremony was visibility. She left. Carriage day dawned clear. Dov had horses ready. Outrider competent. Colors correct without loud. Nova descended with bag and fold and public rank 4 identity assembled like armor that had grown familiar enough to feel like skin. Theo on steps. Single raised hand. She raised one back. Rian appeared from main hall, boots on stone. 12 seconds, look again. Not beginning this time. Continuation. He said, write ordinary letters. She said, I will. He nodded. Did not repeat Nova without title in courtyard where attaché summaries might someday be reconstructed from servant observation. He did not need to repeat it. She had heard it. Carriage door closed. Manor reseated. Hills rolled. Road east toward capital. She opened notebook on lap once the estate boundary passed and wrote departure filing. Then she closed notebook. Then she opened bag compartment where academy supplies lived beside travel cipher tools. She took blank notation paper. She took seal wax neutral color bought in Manor Village 2 days prior. She took pre-expulsion exercise records Torin had given access to in Thursday office 6 weeks ago. Lisa Ashvale inscription style documentation, expulsion tribunal appendix, failure mode patterns from year 1 practical logs copied with permission that was really overlap consent. She had not touched them at Manor until now. Now was correct timing. Manor was family crisis container. Academy was where anonymous work could travel outward without due correspondence trail. She designed exercise 1 on carriage bench with road vibration factored into stroke discipline. Not rank 4 work. Not remedial insult. Calibrated reentry. Conditional phrasing at depth. Lisa's pre-expulsion logs showed she preferred. Failure mode anticipated. Density assumption treating ambient mana as stable when trauma association would make stability feel like tribunal hall. Fix embedded invisibly in exercise structure. Reasoning praise possible without triggering expulsion memory keywords. She wrote instructions in standard academy hand, not her cipher hand. She addressed outer fold to Ashvale Estate Northern District routing. Torin had confirmed in channel notes as still receiving scholarly post without academy return address flag. Seal. Blank circle press only. Inner label in different hand. She practiced 3 times from a fellow student. No signature. No house mark. No cipher glow. Package sized for postal shoot, not courier drama. First anonymous Lisa exercise. Beginning of the 14-month plan she had laid out in her ledger without telling anyone, because telling anyone would have made help into performance, and performance was what old Nova had weaponized. This was not weapon. This was debt reduction. Small. Slow. Untraceable if done right. She would mail from Capital first postal office day after return, not embassy drop, not academy internal. Distance between sender and institutional channels mattered. Caden would not know yet. Confrontation was not this chapter. Kaden was watching chapter. She filed that distinction carefully. Carriage stopped once at Relay Inn. She ate Ren's bread. She did not mail yet. Mailing from Relay left Trace Pattern Manor to North in one hop. Capital first. Procedure. 5 days road became 3 remaining after Manor departure math. Embassy received her with onyx and copper banners and rooms smelling like East Wing, which was comfort or warning, depending what you were trying not to think about. She bathed. She slept one night. Morning she walked to public postal office in Middle Ring wearing scholarship student plain cloak. She sent sealed package. She paid cash. She kept receipt coded in notebook as LX1 without name. Attribution in ledger only. She returned embassy. Wrote Torin through legitimate Thursday adjacent message requesting office hour confirmation first week back, surface ordinary. Cipher line inside legitimate homework wrapper, Manor week complete. East Wing accessed. Need channel upgrade. Witness protocol revision. Not in writing details. She sealed embassy message for Academy Courier. That was Torin channel. Not operational yet. Seed. Return to Academy Tower Day 351 by her ledger. Year 3 opening in psychological distance even if calendar said summer still. Scholarship floor smelled like porridge and annex anxiety. Syrah looked at her once in common room and said, "You didn't rest." Nova said, "Accurate." Syrah filed companion revision without demand. Pren waved from annex door with failure log binder already thicker. Nova climbed 7th floor. Room unchanged. Desk lamp. Mattress edge notebook habit. She opened fault database. New cluster tag, proof, held offsite vault, copy and fold, re-briefed, submission trail gap confirmed. Subcategory, do not speak in garden yet. Subcategory, Torin upgrade pending Thursday. Subcategory, LX1 mailed anonymous. She stared at last subcategory. Did not delete. Help had begun. Help would run 14 months before Kaden traced packages and appeared at her door at midnight saying explain yourself. Not yet. Plant was in postal network now. Northern Ashvale Estate would receive sealed exercise addressed from fellow student. Lisa might open it or might not. Nova could not control that. Could control calibration. Could control silence. Could control not telling anyone. Thursday came. Torin office door closed. Humidity homework between them as cover. She said, Manor week settled inquiry. East Wing opened. I found her proof. Torin's pen stopped. He said, read it. She said, all 47 pages. 6 times efficiency sealing derivation. Still correct. Silence in office different from silence in head. Torin said, where is it now? She said, vault. Copy and fold. Ria knows. He said Bethan told him submission never received. Torin closed eyes once. Opened. He said, witness protocol upgrades tomorrow. Not emotion performance. Operational sentence. She said, good. He said, do not publish. She said, I know. He said, do not tell Kaden. She paused. He said, he's watching you. If he learns proof before channel ready, he reports upward through order habits before Ashvale habits. We are not ready. Nova said, I didn't tell him. Torin said, good. Beat. He said, the exercises. Her blood chilled. She said, what exercises? Torin said, don't perform. I don't know contents. I know you requested Lisa pre-expulsion logs 6 weeks ago, and I know why you requested them, and I know you mailed something from Middle Ring Postal yesterday because Pren saw you leave Annex tracking list and thought you were buying ink. Nova stared. Torin said, I am not asking details. I am saying channel includes me for consequence mapping or channel is vanity. She breathed. She said, first package only. Calibration. Anonymous. Torin said, Kaden will find out eventually. She said, I know. Torin said, not from me. She said, thank you. Not warmth. Precision. Thursday ended with overlap upgraded and proof held in 2 locations and LX1 in transit and Torin knowing enough to map consequences without knowing exercise text. Friday NX. Pren said, you look like you brought something back. Nova said, I brought failure mode discipline. He accepted that because Pren accepted documented answers. Saturday library corral. Caden at adjacent table. Not accident. He had logged her return within hours. He was reading forged text with left hand on page and right hand on pen and eyes on her door reflection in corral brass strip. Watching. Not approaching. Not confrontation. 45-word dormitory conversation from months ago still standing between them like glass. He said, manner weak. Not looking up. She said, settled. He said, you look different. She said, tired. He said, that's not what I meant. Beat. She said, I know. He returned to forged text. She opened approved homework. Between them on shared table edge his more Cipher annotations from book return months ago had been replaced by neutral stack. He was still studying Cipher since Lisa Tribunal, still convergent reader, still not ally. Watching log active. Nova wrote surface notation. Under surface she thought about proof in Manor Vault. About mother math. About father's first Nova. About sealed package writing north. About 14 months until midnight doorway and explain yourself. About Caden not knowing yet. About silence underneath tower stone. Year 3 ahead. Rank 5 path ahead. Operation ahead. Dead ahead. She wrote in the notebook that night. Returned Academy. LX1 mailed, first Lisa exercise, fellows student seal, Torrent channel aware consequence level not content. Proof vault / copy split. Rian briefed. Thursday upgraded. Caden watching, not approached. Do not tell Caden Praetorian order upward habit risk. Public rank 4. Private unchanged. Witness protocol revision tomorrow. 14 months until trace risk peaks, prepare. Manor week closed. Memory leak continues. Work. She lay in tower dark. Capital inscription lights pulsed low calibration heartbeat through the window. The framework breathed underneath. She breathed on top. Both running. Ahead, work. Enough for now.